Good evening. Welcome to the August 6th meeting for the Lebanon Board of Park Commissioners. Thank you for joining us. Please note that all members are present with the exception of Lori Gross and Karen Galvin this evening. If all members have had a chance to take a look at the July minutes, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes for the July 9th meeting.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Second. All right, thank you. Then the minutes from the July 9th meeting have been approved. Then we have old business. We have Kevin Krulik here this evening to give us some project update information.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time this evening. A couple of miscellaneous projects around the city, just some minor updates. We're still working on that, the Chadwick area, that area north of the Chadwick neighborhood. Working on with our consultants on wetland delineation there and just trying to solve some of those drainage problems. Not a whole lot going on there right now. Basically working through that process with the consultants. On Grant Street, east side of town, we're getting ready to start phase 2. So not really any park related stuff there, but just want to make sure everyone is paying attention. I don't have a start date yet, but Midwest Paving was selected by NDOT as the low bidder. And I would guess they would be under contract with the state probably sometime in the next 30 days. We've already had our utility coordination meeting for all the utility relocation work that has to be done. Most of it is complete with the exception of CenterPoint Energy, the gas lines. There's a few gas line relocations that have to be done. But our inspector is already on site. We're ready to go as soon as construction does kick off. So I will remind everyone that side of town will be under construction once again. I know it's been a lot of construction on that side of town with Grant Street Phase 1 and Fordyce. But we got one more major project to do over there. Other projects, speaking of that side of town, Fordyce Street is nearing completion. Since I've last been here, we've completed all the major heavy construction. We placed the sod. We've done our punch list walkthroughs with the contractor. They are working primarily right now on, actually they should have just wrapped up earlier this afternoon, all the concrete repair work that had to be done. Some of the sod replacement issues will come in the fall as we get into cooler temperatures. They'll be doing some sod replacement if it does not fully take. And at that time, they'll also be planting trees along the road right-of-way buying process. Happy to report that as of today, yesterday, we received our construction and the floodway permits from the state. So that was another hurdle off the list or behind us there as we move forward with that project. And that will also include a trail construction from Lafayette Avenue to the north end of the project. Let's see, Noble Street, south side of town. We're much further behind on that project than we are on Witt Road or Grant Street. That project isn't scheduled for construction until 2029. At this point, we've got all of our survey work completed. We filed our stage 1 plans with NDOT for their review. And so we're just working through that. Still targeting adding a chicane to the road to Noble Street between Hot Pond and Admiral Longley Park. That'll provide us a little more separation from Hot Pond and also hopefully slow traffic down. There'll also be speed tables and signalized crosswalks at that location, really trying to make sure those two parks are better connected as you go through that corridor. The corridor will also include all new sidewalks and curbs and drainage, everything else that will go with it. Midland Trace, we're starting to work on the planning process for the Midland Trace Trail, the next regional trail that will come east to west across the county. Primarily right now, we're just trying to make sure that ourselves and Whitestown and Zionsville, the county, partnering with the Community Foundation for funding of this countywide study through some of their grant programs. So we're just in that early phases of trying to put all the players at the table and trying to figure out how we parse together this study to figure out where that trail will go as we begin to wrap up construction of the Big Four Trail and look to the next major regional trail. Let's see. Scrolling down the list here, other updates. State Road 39 corridor. We had a good open house held on the 22nd at Lebanon High School. Really good turnout for that. Probably had 30 to 40 people in attendance. General positive response, looking at relinquishment of the corridor and upgrading the corridor, trying to make it safer, make traffic flow better through there. Again, this is just a relinquishment study right now. We don't have any results as to what the project will look like, but we're having the public open house, having the surveys that have been out in the community for a while, gathering that data so that we can better inform ourselves as to what the project might be. Jumping over to park-specific projects, out at Stone Eater, unfortunately, I think it was on the 14th of July, we had somebody run through the wooden fence right there at the entrance, vehicular crash. Unfortunately, that was an uninsured motorist, so we're working through that issue, but we do have a contractor on board, same contractor that built the fence, to come out and repair that area, and that should be happening sometime in the next week or so. We're also working with some of our friends at Hamilton County Parks who've got some experience maintaining these types of trails to help give us some procedures that they've utilized that kind of been determined to be their best practices, so that we can better inform our park staff on how best to tackle some of the issues that come up maintaining mountain bike trails. Pickleball courts, really getting close to wrapping up the pickleball courts. As you probably are all aware, the memorial courts have been open for some time now. All the surfacing and nets are up at Admiral Longley Park. We're just working with our contractor on final punch list repairs. I'm told all the punch list repairs should be done by the end of next week. So we're tracking that. But both sets of courts are now open for play. The repairs are really minor, scratched paint on the fencing, things like that we're taking care of. And then last but certainly not least on that, we've replaced the lighting at Memorial Park, upgraded those lights. Admiral Longley Park got new lights as part of the project. We used some of the extra contingency money that was left over to go ahead and upgrade the Memorial Park lights. In fact, I want to thank Billy Smith. He'll be out there later tonight as they do the final test to make sure that we've got good coverage on the courts before we fully turn those over. Fishing pier down at Admiral Longley Park. We've got a few more days there yet, but our contractor has been working, backfilling and fine grading along the new trail that goes along the west side of the pond. It also connects to the fishing pier. Probably about halfway done. They got a couple more days later this week and into next. They'll be hopefully wrapping that up. Big Ford Trailhead over on Sam Ralston Road. Wilson Construction will be in there next week doing some replacements of the concrete pads and making sure that we're bringing the picnic area, the bike workstation, and the portalet enclosure into ADA compliance. So that'll be done sometime next week. And then the Admiral Longley perimeter path will get a phase 2 that we're working on right now. We've been working with the park staff to go through the construction plans that have been developed on that. They'll be going before all the technical review committee for the city to make sure that everybody is taking a look at that from a utility standpoint, from a planning, engineering, Department of Public Works. Everyone will be looking at that on August 12th as we look to hopefully wrap up that set of plans the next few weeks. And we'll probably be bidding that work out in the fall for spring construction. And that will include basically taking the trail from the entrance into the parking lot by the football fields all the way down to the south, wrapping around the southern part of the park and connecting to the Big Four. So we'll have a loop that will go entirely around the perimeter of the park. In addition, there's kind of an old gravel trail that goes along the south side of the old Conservation Club pond. That will be paved as well, and that will be extended out to the Big Four. So there'll be a couple of loops. So you'll have a loop that will go around the pond, and you'll have a loop that goes primarily around the entire park.
What's the timeline on that?
We're thinking in early spring that will go to construction. That also includes a lot of drainage improvements, putting in storm sewer extensions, making sure that we're picking up those low spots in the park that frequently hold water, make it difficult to maintain and utilize. So that include new storm sewers on the west side, down along Hendricks Drive, really make those field areas on the south side a lot more usable because they'll drain a lot better. But again, we're just going through all of our technical permitting and approvals, working with our friends at the county surveyor's office for drainage review, just so we have a check and balance, so we're not reviewing our own and permitting our own project. Thompson Street down there, 313 Thompson Street, all the demolition is now done. Triangle Asphalt is scheduled to begin work in the first week of September. Milling and resurfacing that parking lot on the south side of the building that is left. And then we are also working on bid packages for refurbishing of the building with re-siding the building, new roof, some minor upgrades to utilities on the inside of it as well, to make that just a more functional space for the Parks Department. And with that, I guess that's really all the park-related updates I have, but happy to talk about anything going on in the city if you have any questions.
There are a couple things that I'm aware of just from some informal communications that have happened since our last meeting that you might be able to address, or Billy might be able to. One is a topic that came up regarding the pickleball courts. First of all, they are used all the time, the ones in Memorial Park. It's great to see that. I love it. But a topic that came up was, and I'm not sure who all was involved in the design of the courts and all that, but there's one entry point and one exit point. They are the same. There isn't another entry or exit. So if there were like some emergency unsafe situation, there's not a way to get out other than the way you came in. And wondered if that was in the discussion, or is that something that would be considered, or?
There are actually two gates on both sets of courts.
Both on one
on Memorial
side.
Park, yeah, we kind of put them, in hindsight, we put them back where they were originally. And the complaint I've heard is that there's not a gate on the opposite side, the east side, which completely understand.
You're stating it much better than I did. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. Certainly something we can add. We decided just to go ahead and finish it the way it was bid out, the way it's under contract. But certainly something, if you'd like us to explore that and what it would take to install a gate on that side. I understand. I've not heard it more from a safety standpoint. That's a good point. It's been more from the people that say, if I hit a ball out that side, I have to walk all the way around. So we can look at that. I can get a price put together for another gate and get that to John and the staff to see if they want to move forward.
If it's a possibility.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Okay.
We'd appreciate that. Okay. And then another thing that had come up, just again, informal conversation, was the possibility of having some data to look at as far as the use of all our park amenities.
Sure.
Because that might be helpful information for further grant applications and, funding
Absolutely.
sources and things like that. I'm wondering if that's something that could, I don't know if that's a Joe issue that could be put together. Or...
I would point you to Joe, and I can reach out to Joe and try to get some reporting for you. With the Placer AI software that we have that was purchased kind of in conjunction with the solar eclipse last year, we have the ability to basically create geofences around our parks. In fact, all of them actually have geofences. He's already looking at this data to see what park visitation looks like. Not just the number of people that are in the parks, but also where they come from, where they live, what their demographics are. So let me get with Joe and see if we can't put together a report that would show you that kind of information.
I think that would be really helpful. I think some people have a perception that some are used a lot and that some are not. And I think if you had data instead of just perception, that might be helpful in addition to, maybe other uses as well. So that would be great. And then something that I came across, I had grandkids here this week and we were visiting even parks in other communities. And for example, we were at Main Street Park in Whitestown,
Okay.
that little, with their splash pad and the all-inclusive areas and everything. And
Yeah.
using that restroom in there, I'd seen something that I had never noticed before, and it was a blue emergency pole in the restroom.
Really?
And I thought, I wonder, you hear of vandalism and things like that that happen sometimes in public restrooms. I don't know what determines that, yes, we need to have that or not. I was just
Yeah.
curious if that has ever been something that's been discussed or a need here.
Yeah, just making some notes here. Yeah, let me look into
Picture
that.
of it, I could show it to you.
No, I've not seen them in a park restroom, but I know what you're talking about. I've seen those in commercial buildings. I've seen those you see them a lot in hospitals. Yeah, I would assume the technology is there, that's just really something you mount to the wall and it functions. So
It looks like a fire alarm, but it isn't.
Yeah, I know what
and
you're
it says
saying.
emergency on it, but it's blue, not red.
Right.
So I don't know. I just thought it was, caught my attention and thought it might be worth something to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me look into that.
And then you mentioned, drainage being addressed at Abner Longley. We had on our list a long time ago and kept carrying it over. The drainage issue we've had at Memorial Park for a while. That area that kind of gets swampy in this, particularly in the
Yes.
spring and all that.
Particularly, we had a drainage study done in 2018, 2019. I'd have to go pull it off the shelf that looked at the entire park. Definitely pointed out some difficult areas east of the pickleball courts, as well as then really probably that sort of area south of the stage does not drain really well. And there's not a lot of infrastructure that's there to make it better without a significant construction project. But I know we have that plan. That plan was done for both parks. In fact, that's the plan that we're using to sort of tell us what to do at Abner Longley Park, in addition to talking with John and staff. Like I said, we certainly have the plan. Really, it would just be a matter of funding a project that would include improving the drainage there.
I was curious what made Abner Longley come before the Memorial drainage issue.
I think it was, I think the path was what we heard was the priority to do that. And we just said, well, if we're doing the path, we have to make sure drainage works if we're going to invest in this path.
That makes sense.
So
Thank you. Anybody else have questions for Kevin? I don't mean to monopolize it.
One, I feel like you mentioned something similar to this, but I couldn't tell if you were talking about Reese. So at Reese Park, we've got the new bathroom enclosure.
Yeah.
Right outside of that, to get in, it's just dirt.
Okay.
So the second any bit of rain
Right.
or whatever, then it's tough for someone like me to go up. It gets real slick. So anybody else trying to go up, the grandparents, older people trying to walk up that one, you just can't get into that bathroom area. Gravel path, something that provides friction to get up into.
Maybe some sort of a pad that's got edging that will hold the gravel in place would be helpful.
Something that can just cover up that dirt area to allow some sort of ability to get up in there when it gets muddy outside.
You'll get a lot of traffic, won't it?
Yeah, well, we know, we got it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we found that out last season, the spring season. It just took one rain, and then it was humorous to watch people try to get up in there.
Absolutely. Yeah. How many kids do we have in the program now?
Between fall, spring, and camp, we're probably sitting around 500 total individual players.
Absolutely wonderful.
Definitely. So I'll work on getting proposals and pricing together for that new gate, also for that stone. I'll research the call box issue for you, and then see if Joe can't help assemble some sort of visitation and demographic report for you. Anything else?
Thank you so much. Appreciate all the information.
Thank you.
All right, moving to our next item, which is new business. We have some guests with us this evening, and we're going to be learning a little bit about wreaths across America. And Judy Wilson, I believe, is here. And if you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you're exploring.
Thank you very much for allowing us to come this evening. I'm Judy Wilson, and I'm currently the county president of the Boone County Extension Homemakers. About a year ago at one of our Homemaker Club meetings, one of our members was talking about an event that she was involved in at the Marion Cemetery, which is a national cemetery. I did not know that. And she handles the wreaths across America for that whole cemetery. So as we got to talking about it, I said, why aren't we doing something like that in Boone County? Why are we not putting wreaths on the graves of veterans that are here in our own county? So in less than a month, we got all the paperwork taken care of through the organization, and we had 280 wreaths that were sponsored that we distributed throughout the county. That was a big undertaking. This year, we are doing it again. And we are participating cemeteries are Ralston Cemetery on 421, and Kim Love is the volunteer coordinator for that location. Lincoln Memory Gardens and Christy Neff is the coordinator for that location. And Oak Hill Cemetery and Wendy Sloman is the volunteer coordinator for that location. I oversee all of that. The Extension Homemakers and the Daughters of the American Revolution joined together last year in purchasing and sponsoring those 280 wreaths. And we were very excited about doing it. We have a couple of ideas for the coming year, and I would like to introduce Wendy Sloman at this time, and Wendy's going to give you some of those updates.
Thank you so much. Good evening.
Hello, my name is Wendy Sloman, and I'm here on behalf of the Boone County Extension Homemakers Group to ask for permission to place signage like this and also use the War Memorial area at Memorial Park on December 13th, 2025 for the Wreaths Across America kickoff. Wreaths Across America is a program with the mission of remember the fallen, honor those who serve, and teach the next generation the value of freedom. And annually, on the second or third Saturday of December, volunteers groups come together all over the country, and they put wreaths on over 3 million grave sites in over 3,700 participating locations. This began about 30 years ago. The Remember, Honor, and Teach lasts all year long, and far beyond the single day in December that we coordinate these layings. All throughout the year, Wreaths Across America works in a number of ways to show the veterans and their families that we will not forget and we will never forget. They're committed to teaching all generations about the value of the freedoms and the importance of honoring those who have sacrificed so much to protect those freedoms. The sponsorship group of Boone County Extension is special because almost all these others, they focus only on a single cemetery, and it's a national cemetery. Boone County, and this whole setup that we have right now, is the only one in this program that is focused on a county. And right now, I know last year, we laid it in 23 different cemeteries as we laid different wreaths, whether it was one in a small personal cemetery, or maybe two, and as we're in Boone County, this is rural, so that made this even more special. But the problem with that is then we need to have a centralized location to do the kickoff. Last year we did it the day after, and we did it up actually at the courthouse, and that was a little harder, and it was not real conducive. And so when Judy and I were meeting about this, and I said, well, why don't we see about using the War Memorial in Memorial Park? It already has all the different setups for all the different branches, and we could lay the wreaths for each and every branch there, have the actual ceremony, and then disperse to the cemeteries from there. And that is what we're asking for permission to do and get this involved with. I personally am the daughter of veterans. I am married to a veteran, and this has been anything with veterans has been a passion project. I used to work at FedEx for 27 years, and I was involved in Trees for Troops out at Dole's Tree Farm for 15 years. I was actually the coordinator there. So for me, after my retirement, and I'm trying to do something a little different, and I actually purchased wreaths that go on my parents' graves in Illinois at the National Cemetery. So I've been affiliated and have known about this program for quite a long time. So when Judy came and, and this came out about this, I was pretty excited to come on board and to help spearhead this. And I will tell you, whether you realize it, there are so many veterans here. There's not one compiled list of the veterans for Boone County. I asked, Mike Spidell, I've asked several, different locations. They're like, no, I don't know. I mean, I said, how many veterans do we have here? You give me a number, like you were talking about data earlier. Give me a number so that we can start setting goals. I don't know. So, I mean, I've started working on trying to do some research with that. I'm also a member of the DAR. But I mean, I've started trying to compile a database of information because, again, there's so much history there. I mean, and walking through these cemeteries, it makes it harder because we're not a national cemetery. We really have to pick and find where these, veterans are buried. It's not like it's on, you go and you see the regular white headstones, in a national cemetery. So we'll have to put a little extra effort in, but it's well worth it. And we would just like that permission, like I said, to, have our ceremony there on December 13th. And then, like I said, and then have a sign like this so that people can get the word out, because this is also going to be at the participating cemeteries so that they can purchase and sponsor wreaths. And we're also going to be having signage all over town and in the county to encourage volunteers and sponsorship.
You're talking about not knowing how many and who the actual veterans are that are buried here. Like at Oak Hill, I know they put the American flag on the vet's tombstone, or, their gravesite. Is that because the families have given an indication,
Well, I asked Mike about that, who's the Boone County Senior Services Officer. And I said, so how do you know? He goes, I just know.
Oh, it has it up here.
Well, and he said, well, the person that did it before, he just knew some of this. Well, I will tell you, I met with Beth Taylor at Oak Hill, and I started talking with her about some of this. And, there's some that there are the different plaque type of grave, markers and the actual marble ones. There's some that is actually on their gravestone, but there is, I will tell you, a huge amount that is not. And so that's one of the things that she had suggested, that I start going through the Find a Grave for Oak Hill. And then what I started doing was looking at that, then marking them as veteran, in that section, but also then I'm digging into through my ancestry.com membership, and I'm looking into it further and, looking at their death certificates, looking at for veterans records to designate them. And so far in Oak Hill, I found, I can't tell you how many Spanish-American War veterans, let alone Civil War, and then, Vietnam, Korea, World War II, several, can't tell you how many that were killed in action, things like that, and we want to remember them and everything that they've done. So that was something they said that was pretty interesting. And I know most of you probably knew Candy Killian, and Candy was actually walking the cemetery with me last year, and I love Candy. And, it's an education when you're doing that, because she is so ingrained in this community. And, I just moved here 20 years ago. I'm a young'un. And, Candy's like, oh yeah, I know so-and-so. And, that's their sister, that was their brother. And I mean, it was very eye-opening.
I want to get that information while we still have access to those people that know those
I do, and I want
connections,
people to have that opportunity. I mean, I have, my brother-in-law was just in here in town this weekend. He lives in North Carolina. His father is buried there. And, I know that being in, my parents in Illinois, I don't get to decorate their grave as often. So by doing this and having this program, it allows him also to sponsor a wreath so I can put it on his dad's grave to honor him. And that's some of the stuff that we want to start generating. Last year was the first year with 280 wreaths, but we want to start generating that excitement and get people involved and really just people be proud of what Boone County, these guys and ladies, I found a few, and it's been some awesome history. They went, they served, they protected, and then they chose to be their final resting place, not in a national cemetery, but here. And they shouldn't, just because they're not in a national cemetery, miss this opportunity. So,
Well, first of all, thank you both for the work that your organization is doing. I think it's very commendable, and I greatly appreciate your passion for it. I think that's really huge. It's my understanding, unless, Billy, you could tell me otherwise, that I don't think you'll have to go through us to get permission, like official approval. I think working with the Park Department office, John Messenger is your.
John just said that we needed to come here and
make us
and
aware.
make it aware and put it on the record.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate that. And I don't know if anybody here on the board needs to ask any questions at this point in time for clarification, but we're supportive of this work for sure.
Wonderful. I
right.
appreciate it. And thank you. And help get the word out.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. Social media will probably be a great friend to you because people just like talking to Candy like that will give you, connections that
We're going to be putting, we're going to be going obviously to the veteran organizations, and we're going to try to go to, some of the veteran owned businesses. And, like I said, we're going to start trying to build more of this as we're going along. I mean, again, if you have numbers, it helps you. Like I said, I think as of yesterday, I have over 1,250 veterans alone in Oak Hill.
I presume you've talked to somebody at the Armory.
I haven't got there, but that's something that, I plan on doing. Like I said, these are multiple things. And then, got my day job.
Yeah.
Got my day job.
Sure. All right. Well, thank you, ladies,
All right.
very much.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Appreciate it.
Yep. All right. And then next on our agenda, we have a director's report. And with Mr. Messenger not being available this evening, Billy Smith's going to give us an update on all things happening with the parks.
Board members, Seashore Water Park and the splash pad have been extremely busy with the heat we have had in July. Our pool parties have kept us extra busy on Thursdays through Sundays as well. July swim lessons were a great success. The kiddos really improved throughout the 2 weeks, and we were looking forward to next year. There were many programs and events last month. The mother-son pool party was well attended, and we lucked out with our good weather. Our summer pickleball tournament had a great turnout with 12 teams, and the teams were extremely competitive. We had lots of compliments on our new courts as well. The public library hosted their first color run in Memorial Park and had a great turnout. The baseball fields were very active with the high school state 4-day tournament, along with a few other cities attending. Games were also held at the middle school fields. Community band played the Joe Hobbush Memorial Bandstand, along with worship in the park on other nights. Reese Park had a very successful free soccer camp put on by LISA. Registration for fall soccer has been extended to August 7th. Reach out to LISA for more information. Lebanon Youth Football League had beautiful weather for opening day. They had also put some hours into painting the concession stand, press box building. Scott Trafford also painted a mural on the north side of the building. Serve Day put on by Freedom Church was incredible. There were many volunteers that handed out free school supplies, vision screening, clothes, food, and free entry to the water park. This is an awesome event that is wonderful for our community. Maintenance has had several trees to clean up due to storms. They have mostly been along the Big Four Trail and Abner Longley Park. A couple caused some damage to a neighbor's fence, which we repaired in-house. We have put a lot of hours into Stone Eater Bike Park, including nicking, brush cutting, weed eating, spraying, etc. We have started our fall weed control and fertilizing of the parks. We helped DPW with their fountain in the retention pond and teamed up with the utilities for safety training. The fountain at the hot pond has also been repaired. Our last weekday for Seashore Water Park was today, August 6th. We will be open only on weekends until our last day, which is Sunday, August 24th. The splash pad will remain open until the weather changes. The Battle of the Program and Events, the Battle of the Barbecue will take place in Memorial Park this Sunday, August 9th, this Saturday, August 9th. Come anytime from 5 to 7, and admission is $15. It's the first time in 18 years they've raised the price. Our annual Daddy-Daughter Dance will be held on Saturday, August 23rd from 6 to 8 p.m. This is held on the Seashore Water Park deck, and guests can enjoy dancing, dinner, and fun activities. The cost is $25 per couple and $5 per additional child. Tickets can be purchased on our website, but will also be sold at the door. We hope to see you there. On Saturday, August 30, Brother and Sister Czech Ministry will be hosting their Summer Slam in Memorial Park. There will be a trailer full of resources, a live band for praise and worship, live testimonials, and free food. This will take place from 11 to 4 p.m. And that's it.
I have a question. What is nicking? I have no idea what nicking
Nicking is where you have water puddled in a trail, and you take a special hoe. It's almost like the hoe they use when they do forestry fires, and you hack it. It's heavy. It's like about 5 pounds. And you whack it down, and you make the water go off the trail. And that saves us from having to take a backhoe or a mini excavator or something out there and doing it. And we've got 2 guys that are really into doing this. So they're really been doing a great job out there. You can ask Kevin, he wrote it. It really looks good out the Stony Ear Bike Park right now. We're not quite done. We got a little bit more to do, but we have been doing a lot of work out there.
big project to take care of?
Yes,
isn't
it is.
Yeah, I know it is. Yep. And then someone said something to me recently, kind of a little criticism about the splash pad. And I thought, that's the first I'd heard any negativism about it. So I was there this week with a bunch of kids, and I'm like, this is great. What's the problem, you know? And I got to looking, and I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, I'll just tell you that. But you know, on the perimeter of the splash pad, there's the little blue things that I think they're supposed to maybe be shooting up water, and they kind of drizzle a little bit once in a while, but they're not shooting up. Is there something that's not working quite right now?
How long ago was that?
Yesterday's when I was there.
Okay. Well, I just to be honest with you, I don't have a lot of knowledge about the splash pad
guy.
Yes, that would be Mr. Logan Banks, but I'm sure it was probably a pressure thing or something.
That's what I figured.
And when they keep hitting the button, see, a lot of kids don't hit the button in the weight; they just keep hitting it, and the sensor back there, you know.
I bet that's what happened, because the kids thought, well, it didn't do anything, and there were a lot of kids there.
If they just hit it and then wait for it to start to die and then hit it again, it works a lot easier. It works a lot better.
Okay, that's probably exactly what was happening.
It's like you. If you get hit a bunch of times, you don't work as hard.
That's right. Thank you very much.
You're right.
Yep.
Very well.
Parks are looking great.
Thank you very much.
Anybody have any questions? Absolutely. We appreciate them very much. Anybody have any questions for Billy? All right. Well, we do have one item that we need to take a vote on, and that is the consideration for our claims. If everyone has had a chance to review, then I would entertain a motion to approve the claims as presented.
Approve the claims as presented.
Do I have a second? Second. Thank you very much. And then motion is passed. The claims are approved. Then next on the agenda is, unless anyone has any further topics of discussion, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved. A second?
Second.
Thank you very much. This meeting is adjourned. Again, thanks for joining us, and hope we'll have your attention at the September meeting. Good night.